Welcome to the Healthy Hustling Podcast. This is season 2, episode 1. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Broadworth. We're going to be hitting on some different things this season and really focusing on overcoming obstacles. I'm going to be featuring a lot of my journey on here. So for those of you who don't know me or don't know the situation, I recently tore my pectoralis major muscle. I ruptured it. The tendon completely came off from the bone, the humerus, and retracted into the chest wall. And I had to have surgery. So I'm going to highlight a bit of my journey on here and highlight other people's stories along the way and things that they've had to overcome to get to where they need to be and reach their goals, and not only the physical difficulties that come with that and the physical struggles, but also a lot of the mental struggles and just everything that encompasses it. And how do you give yourself the best edge, the best opportunity for you to reach your goals? So hopefully you can take some tips from all this. But from this first episode, I just simply am going to tell my story on what happened and how I got to where I'm at today with regards to just this injury. So I'm very fortunate too, by the way, extremely fortunate to have gotten such good care and gotten care so quickly. So 2 weeks ago, so today's May 18th, it was on May 4th, I was bench pressing. And this is pretty typical when it comes to a pec injury, okay? So I'm bench pressing in the morning before work, and I was doing some tempo work that was called for that day. So it wasn't anything crazy. So I was going based off of my 5-rep max. So it was 95% of my 5-rep max or 85% of my 1-rep max. It's 205 pounds. For some people, for me, that's a decent amount of weight. It's not the most, I had 1-rep max several weeks earlier and hit 240. And so the 205 that day was feeling really good. And so I was doing some tempo work and just doing sets of 3. And that last rep on the set of 3 was just a normal bench press. Well, on the last set of my last rep, as I'm about to come out of the hole, I hear what I describe as like Velcro tearing from my shoulder. So it's like a straight from my shoulder, and then a slingshot effect from the tendon going from my shoulder, from the humerus, the arm bone, into like the chest wall there. And I felt that retraction. I immediately knew that I tore my pec. There was no doubt in my mind. It's a fear that I've had just being a physical therapist and knowing the different types of injuries out there. I love being active, but you've always got it in your mind of making sure you do a good warm up, make sure you do all the things that you can do so that you don't get hurt. Just being human, part of being human is just you're going to get hurt at different points. Like that is what it is. And some people are going to have worse injuries than others. You might stub your toe. In this case, I tore my pec muscle. And I was doing really everything right that day. It was feeling really good. I wasn't struggling with the weight at all. I didn't even feel that I needed a spotter until when, that the weight, the pec tears and the weight's against you, and then you drop it. And luckily it went down my body the other way, not towards my neck. And I didn't get injured from dropping the bar at all. But that I immediately knew going back that I tore my pec. Hearing that Velcro sound like it was ripping in my shoulder, and then feeling everything just like kind of seize up, and I started to panic. I walked around the gym a bit, saying a few choice words. I was letting out some F-bombs. I was in a panic. I was afraid. It's amazing how many things can go through your mind when in just a split second. As soon as that happened, I immediately thought of, I thought, oh, my shoulder, oh crap, like I'm gonna need surgery. That was number one. Number two was my business as a physical therapist. I've got to use my hands. I've got to be able to use my shoulder. What do I do? And what do I do for the patients that I've got on my schedule that day? Like I was supposed to see someone in like, I don't know, an hour or so. Like, what do I do? What do I tell them? I'm thinking about them and I can't not show up for them. Right. And then, I'm also thinking like, where do I go? We're supposed to be going to Alaska. I'm actually supposed to be in Alaska right now with my wife for our anniversary. Today is actually our 2-year anniversary. And so we had a trip planned to Alaska, and I'm like, we're not going to be able to make this trip. Like, I'm going to have surgery. We're not going to be able to make this trip. So as I'm just pacing in the gym and holding my shoulder, and thinking, what do I do? I make my way to Haley, who I work with. She's a physical therapist, and we'll have her on the podcast. She was working at the time with a patient. I knew that. I'm like, okay, I gotta get Haley and have her help me. I don't know how she's gonna help me, but I need help right now. So I go and knock on her door, and she was with a private patient. She does pelvic floor stuff, and it wasn't the best time to interrupt her with her patient. So I apologized later. I knocked and I'm like, Haley, she's like, I'm with someone. I'm like, I need your help now. Like, I need your help now. And so she's like, you're going to have to give me a minute. So I just like lay down on the floor outside of her office or her space, her room where she's working. And she's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I just tore my pec. I don't know what to do. Can you call Jess, my wife, for me? So we call Jess, we get her on the phone, and she's like, surprisingly, my wife is the one that's calm. Normally, I feel like I'm the calm one in these type of situations. She was much more calm, cool, collected. She's like, I think, Eric, you need to go to ortho urgent care with Spectrum. Go to 4100 Lake Drive. You can have someone drive you, or I can try to come drive you. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna, I'll find someone to give me a ride, either Haley or someone at the gym. So I then go run around, and I find one of the trainers in the gym. Her name's Rachel, and she's like, you look like I'm white in the face. She's like, what's going on? Like, you kind of look awful right now. I'm like, I just tore my pec. Would you be able to help me out? She's like, yeah. So she gave me a ride to ortho urgent care. And in the meantime, Jess had been, luckily talking with, one of the surgeons that she knows, and he got me in right away. He's like, send him right in to see me. Dr. Kendall Hamilton, can't thank him enough. So I get there, and I see Dr. Hamilton pretty quickly. And I told him, I'm like, here's what I was doing. I was bench pressing, and we both agreed that, yep, this thing is torn. Let's get an MRI ordered. Let's see how bad this thing's torn. Because sometimes it depends on where the tear is with this type of tear. If it's the tendon's torn from the bone, that's kind of best case scenario. That is surgical. You can surgically repair it. That's usually has the best outcomes though. You could also get the musculotendinous junction, or you could tear the muscle belly, which is more rare. And in my case, I tore at the MRI ended up showing that I tore at the tendon from the bone. There was a little bit of a strain at the musculotendinous junction, but he doesn't seem to think that that's going to be too much of a worry as far as like that recovering and everything. So we got me scheduled for surgery right away. I got in for surgery the next week after I got my MRI results and stuff. So surgery was about a week ago now today. So that was May 12th on a Wednesday. And again, I'm very fortunate that I was able to get in and get surgery done right away. A lot of people looking at the research on pec repairs and people with pec tears, those that do get around to having surgery, a lot of times they put it off and they don't get in for like 3 months. I was able to get it done right away, so I don't have to wait around. I can get right into the rehab process. Yeah, so that was definitely a crazy day. My future, as far as like the outcomes of a pec repair, first off, for the surgical outcomes are very good. Most people get back to 100% or at least very close to 100%. But it's a long journey. I'm looking at, I'm in this sling here, which you can see me in. I'm looking at, if you're watching the video, you can see me. If you're listening to this, then you're not going to be able to, but I'm in this sling here for 6 weeks. And then I'm really not going to be able to do any type of real resistance training for 12 weeks. I've already started my rehab process. I'm utilizing blood flow restriction training, and I'm going to be sharing with you the different things that I'm using on my journey. You can follow me either on Facebook or Instagram. You can join my Facebook group. It's called Fuel Your Fitness, where we share different health, wellness, fitness tips. I strongly encourage anyone to get in there and ask questions or just simply follow along. But anyway, yeah, to allow this to heal properly, I got to be in the sling for 6 weeks. I can't do much resistance training involving this arm at all for like 12 weeks. And then, so really like 3 months out is when I can start lifting things again. And then it's a slow process. At the 6 month mark, I'll be at about 80%. And so I really won't be 100% for 9 to 12 months. And yeah, we're about 1 week into 52 weeks, only 51 more weeks to go, right? So time will fly. I'm going to get through this, and I'm excited to see how this changes my perspective with working as a physical therapist with athletes and with people that are injured and that have had a serious injury or have had surgery and they're having to go through this. I think this is definitely going to make me a better physical therapist, healthcare professional, make me more empathetic towards my patients. And I'm excited to just try to use this as a positive to help other people and help them overcome obstacles. Whether you had a massive, injury or a surgery that you had done, or even you simply had something that's like really been holding you back, an ankle sprain, or maybe you just have some sort of mental block going on. I'm hoping that my journey can help you out by sharing not only my story, but other people's stories. I'm going to have other people on the podcast to just share some insight, and I think it's going to be very valuable. So I'm looking to get Dr. Hamilton on. He did my surgery. He's awesome. He is one of the, definitely one of the best surgeons around, if not the best. He's amazing at what he does. I've worked with his patients in the past, so I knew that he was definitely one of, if I had a list of guys, he's right up there at the top of the people that I would want to see and have perform surgery on me. I had the utmost trust and respect for him. I can't thank him enough for working with me, working on me. And I'm excited to get this going. So if you have any questions, we're going to be getting this podcast again going, hoping to do podcasts weekly and getting those out to you. If you have any questions or topics you want covered, please either, if you're watching this on social media, put a comment in the comments below, shoot me an email at Eric, that's ERIC, at fuelphysicaltherapy.com. So Eric, ERIC, at fuel, FUEL, physicaltherapy.com. That's all one word. You can follow me on Instagram, Dr. Broadworth.dpt.ocs. And again, feel free to friend me on Facebook, join my Facebook group, and connect, and hopefully you get something out of this. So looking forward to sharing my journey with you guys. Thanks for listening, and be ready for the next episode. I'm going to be trying to release those once a week here.